What is up, guys? CernelCory coming at you with another video, and today we're going to be talking about the Atlanta CDL event, and then we're going to be giving some predictions about the LA event coming up next week. So basically recapping last week and looking forward to next week, and let's just go ahead and get right into it. So Faze won it all. It's kind of expected. We really kind of now they're, in our mind, they're the best team just outright. They can beat everybody, we know for a fact. It's just kind of more about who's going to give them, who's actually going to challenge them. And, Minnesota kind of looked like they might, but they ended up not being able to. But other than that, no one really tested them. Maybe Huntsmen could, but next we'll look to number 2. So I guess Florida. Florida had a great run. They kind of showed they can win. They could win an event. Even if the Huntsmen are there, they showed they could beat everyone. So if Faze isn't at an event, Florida might be. Florida's a potential candidate to win it, but I don't think they could beat Faze still. So we'll see. That's who they play next week. We'll get into that in a little bit. So Chicago, in my mind, is still, if you go into an event and they're there, they are the front runner to win as long as Faze isn't there. So if they're in an event, they're the front runner to win it, unless if Faze isn't there. They look beatable. A lot of teams kind of have, they didn't look good in their first game of the event, and they lost. They ended up losing going out of the event, so they didn't win at all. So we don't really know, but they're still clear number 2 in everyone's mind at this point. Okay, moving on to Minnesota. So Minnesota, I put them, after that event, I would put them in my top 4 of teams, on the list. I would say they're up there. They've proven they're a good team, and look, they make it to the big games, but they don't look good in the big games. They looked better in the Faze game than they did in the Chicago game, and it's weird because that was a better team. I guess you say that's a better team potentially, but they play great against the bad teams, play kind of off against good teams, and it's kind of always close. They're never just destroying. It doesn't really feel like they're always destroying, because they're going to map 5s. Even if they win map 5s dominant, they're always going there. It's always a chance. But they're a good sleeper team. Okay, and now going into Optic. Optic's the only other team I want to touch on because I said they would win a game. I picked them to win. Picked them to make it even out of groups, and they didn't even win a game. And they really don't deserve to win a game. If you watch, even when the domination on, the tie domination game they played, they looked terrible. It was in the last 10 seconds, it was just, everything flipped, and they deserved to lose. They just weren't playing, they weren't playing good. It was awful to watch, and I can't even believe they had to discuss it for that long, because if they were dude, are we really going to give these guys another chance? They just totally blew it. I don't know. They made everyone's lives real hard that day, and they didn't deserve to win that domination game. And they didn't. Okay. But moving on, we're going to talk about the LA event. The LA event, I feel like when you look at it, it's kind of there's Faze. So, if they don't win it, it's kind of who's going to. Who's actually going to try give Faze a run for their money? You expect it to be finals, Faze, and someone else. It's kind of, you like this because you get to see kind of where these middle teams stack up. Some of these teams haven't played each other, but they kind of keep losing to the same people. So, Minnesota and Dallas, these teams, they've only lost to Faze and Huntsmen. Those are the only teams they lose to. So really, we'll see where that goes. We'll see if one of them who's gonna come out on top. So when I'm looking at it, my favorite Faze, Chicago, Minnesota and Dallas. If I have to pick a team to be a sleeper, I would pick one of them. I'd pick one from each group, just to cop out and say I have 2. But I think one of them could potentially make some noise. But if no one's, they might give Faze the best challenge. And then my Cinderella, I guess I'll just pick a Cinderella because I did it last time and it kind of worked out. I picked Florida and it decently worked out, and then this time, so I'll just go Optic. Even though Optic has still not won a game, I still have hope. I'll go another week. Another week having hope that Optic might win next week, and so we'll get into it next week. Maybe I'll do a recap of day 1 next week, and we'll go into predictions for day 2. But my 4 to make it out of groups, I guess I will say here we'll end on my 4, and I pick Faze. I hope Dallas makes it out of groups. I can't really. It's a hope. It's a personal hope based on favoritism. My Cinderella was just LA. I feel like LA could win, but Seattle, Seattle's kind of a wild card. I don't think the Gorillas will do anything. I think Minnesota makes it out, and then I think Minnesota's capable of beating all 3 of those teams. And then I think LA, hopefully. LA has to play Gorillas, and then they could potentially beat Surge. Once you've seen Surge play twice, and then maybe your coaches know something. Hopefully you have good coaches. Hopefully, but we'll see. I don't think Gorillas. So, one of those 2. Hopefully I'm right. I did decent last week, and we'll see. Faze front runner, clear, obvious, ending on that. Hope you enjoyed. See you next time. Peace out.